Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, and you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Watch. Okay, well, has this always been a thing? Where have I been?
Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Elimination Chamber recap brought to you by the Smacked Raw podcast. I am your host, Katie Bay, and I am joined by a member of the Putting You Over family, D-Rod. How you doing, man?
Did somebody miss their cue? Katie, did you hit that right? Let me try it.
Uh-oh.
Everybody, welcome to the Smacked Raw podcast. The king of the Smacked Raw podcast predictions and one of the greatest wrestling minds on Twitter today, D-Rod 2222. It's an honor to be here, Katie.
I want to cancel this podcast. God damn it. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Well, actually, I'll take a page out of Bob's book. It's your pleasure.
Oh, man. Okay. This is going to be fun.
It is.
So, for those who don't know, we are a wrestling recap show. You can find us live on twitch.tv/puttingyouover for the Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown recaps, and you can also find the NXT recaps live Wednesday nights on our personal Twitch, twitch.tv/SmackDrawPodcast. If you miss a live stream, you can head on over to youtube.com/SmackDrawPodcast, hit the little like button, subscribe, notification bell so you get notified every time we post a new video. We post videos about 4 times a week at least. Because, you know, all of the wrestling shows we can cover. Sorry,
Yes!
I got distracted.
Matt is here.
I got distracted by Matt. If you don't like to watch your podcast, you can find the audio form basically on every podcast platform you can think of. If you're a listener, or if you want to take a break from listening and watching, use your peepers, head on over to WrestlingNewsWorld.com. We are the exclusive recap for them. Thanks to D-Rod, we got back on.
You're welcome.
Thank you. There's so much happening.
It's great to see Matt here. It's great to see him here. I love Matt, you know, or if you want to call him Matt or Matt Riddle. But anyways, moving on. Head on over to WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Support the writers over there. They have some great stuff happening over there. Retro reviews. They have podcasts, and they have premium content as well. And I have to do the Patreon pitch myself because Kevin or Kyle or Ariane are here. So head on over to Patreon.com to help support the show. Patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast. See, this is why I don't do it. I mess it up. You can get stickers. If you subscribe to the Super Kick Party tier, which is the $10 tier, you can do a video, unpopular wrestling opinion. It'll be featured on the show, which will be returning this month, I think. I think it's going to be live from the Tokyo Dome.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. And there will be a panel on that show, and they'll tell you if your opinion is trash or they like it. If you do the $25 tier, you can get a SmackDown Pod t-shirt, and we will shout you out for a month like we did for D-Rod back in September.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry, you can pitch your stuff at the end.
I will. You know I will.
I know you will. I'm just forewarning you. There's too much happening in the chat. Oh, man.
Well, you know, when you got all these crazy people in here, you know something's going to go down.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people in here. A lot. Thank you to everyone who's watching live, by the way. I'm not going to go through and name everybody, but thank you for being here.
I'm a draw.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. You're nailing it.
Oh,
Okay, let's talk about Elimination Chamber.
chamber time.
Chamber time. Overall, how'd you feel about it?
Some points I loved. Some points I was like, what in the world is going on here? And we'll get to that here in a little while. But overall, I thought a pretty good pay-per-view, Katie.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't bad. We did see that the Raw Women's Championship match got cut from the card,
Mm.
which I kind of expected, but the fact that, at least personally, I didn't see any record of them saying that the match was cut at all on social media.
Yeah, and there was even people when the men's Raw Elimination Chamber started. I was seeing them say, well, is the women's match still happening after this? And they was going in there saying, well, Ronda Rousey's coming back. Becky Lynch is coming back. I'm like, what are you but that's Twitter for you.
The people who think Becky's coming back already need to chill. She just gave birth not that long ago.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep.
God, I gotta learn how to type better with one hand. Alright, so we started the night off with the first of the two chamber matches. We started with the SmackDown Men's Chamber, and whoever won this match was going to have a title match against Roman. We assumed later in the night, but we saw that that was not the case. The chamber consisted of Jey Uso, Daniel Bryan, King Corbin, even though he's been King of the Ring for about 300 years now, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. Now, how do you feel about the Sami Zayn documentary-esque thing that they do?
Really, I didn't have an opinion until after tonight. And I know I just kind of brushed it aside. But seeing Sami Zayn work a cowardly heel position tonight in the chamber match was one of my favorite things about this chamber match.
Really?
And, you know, the documentary, they could do something cool with the documentary if they wanted to. Have its own website, upload it, do its own thing. Why not? If you're gonna go 100% into this gimmick, do something with it. And I thought Sami Zayn is a perfect cowardly heel in this Elimination Chamber matchup. And overall, I thought it was the best chamber matchup tonight. You may have a different opinion about that, but I thought it was.
I don't know. I mean, the second chamber, the Raw Men's Chamber match for the WWE Championship, was by far more brutal, in my opinion. But, I mean, they both were really good. There was a lot more... I can't even say there was more storytelling in this one. There was a lot of different stories playing out in this one as opposed to the Raw Men's one. But we did start the chamber with Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, which I wasn't necessarily surprised about.
No. Them two, you put them two wherever you want to put them, and they're going to put on a technical masterpiece.
Exactly. And that's what they did. Daniel Bryan hurts his knee fairly early in the match, which I didn't notice at first. I didn't even know when he got hurt.
No, and then later on I saw Jey Uso kind of go after it with a flying kick to the back of the knee or something like that. And then, of course, Cesaro done that, hooked the knee and then the swing around. That's when I really started to notice it also.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of noticed it before Corbin was coming in, like Daniel clutching his knee more. But once Jey entered and then Cesaro with that swing, oh man, that swing was beautiful too.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, I'm not gonna like run down the entire chamber. I'm kind of just gonna say how everyone was
totally
eliminated, because
we'd be here 3 hours if we ran down everything.
We'd be here longer than the frickin' show. So Corbin was the first eliminated. Cesaro did the swing into the sharpshooter. Corbin taps. Then we got a stunner to Sami Zayn by Kevin Owens. Sami gets eliminated. Now, the Kevin Owens spot with his arm and the chamber door.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I loved it. I mean, you know, some people may look at it and say, well, to be honest, I picked Kevin Owens to win this.
So did I.
And I know people are tired of Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, but I thought, okay, they can finally put it to bed tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Let Kevin Owens win the chamber, have Roman Reigns do what he did to Daniel Bryan, come out there and just whoop up on him. We can finally put this Kevin Owens thing to rest. But it looks like, I don't know, but you know, we saw, well, you'll get to it here in a minute, who came out after the Roman match. But I enjoyed Kevin Owens and the elimination in that spot.
Yeah, once this happened, so as Sammy is like walking out and they have the door open, Kevin is kind of there and he's fighting with Jey Uso. Uso slams the door on Kevin's arm, gets it stuck in the chamber, 3 super kicks to his face, and then after he's finally done beating the hell out of him, he hits the splash and Kevin's eliminated. And you bring up the point that you had Kevin to win. I did too, because I really thought that they were just going to let this play out until SmackDown or Fastlane, because God forbid there's another pay-per-view between Rumble and Mania.
And there he is.
See, he distracts me every time.
Well, see, Matt, you know, he's an AEW mark who doesn't know when to be quiet.
Okay.
So that's what you got with Matt.
Okay. I will just throw this out there. I was brought on the show because I am an AEW mark. I'm just gonna say that.
And you're probably the most respectable one. And I hope you take that with a very high thought, because that's a great compliment coming from me.
Thank you. Anyways, we're just gonna move on to the continue with the chamber. We saw Cesaro get eliminated with a splash by Jay, and then Jey Uso goes for another splash off the pod to Daniel Bryan. Daniel puts the knees up, hits the running knee, and Daniel wins. Now we're all thinking, awesome, he'll have a match with Roman later tonight. It'll be the main event or something. No. We were wrong. Roman, being the petty heel he is, comes out and we have the Universal title match. Now, what I loved most was it looked like Roman was going to go for a spear as soon as the bell rang. Daniel applies the yes log. And I was kind of freaking out. I was like, there's no way. There's no way Daniel's going to win. But I had hope.
A perfect hook.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a perfect way for Roman. I thought it was set up perfectly because, like you said, we thought, okay, Daniel Bryan's going to get a little time to rest.
Mm-hmm.
But the tribal chief said it's time right now, and that plays exactly right into his character.
It does.
When he wants it to happen, it's going to happen. And that's what we saw tonight. So I say go 100% in this. That's what they did tonight. Roman Reigns is above everyone else. He's the tribal chief. That's the bottom line. I loved it.
I mean, it just makes sense that we were all under the impression that we would have to wait, but Roman saying, no, this is my show, even if it's a dual branded pay-per-view, but it's my show. And he comes out. Obviously, we get this match. It was, I think Bama said it was 1 minute 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. That's what it should have been, in my opinion.
I
mean,
I really was just hoping it would hit the 5-minute mark so I could get an extra point for predictions. But like, because again, in my mind, I thought it'd be Kevin Owens, and Kevin has been known to not stay down.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, that's what was happening.
If Kevin Owens would have been out there, it might have hit 5 minutes. But the way Daniel Bryan, what he'd been through, I could see why it lasted as little as it did.
Mm-hmm. Because once the Roman breaks the yes lock, he just starts beating the absolute hell out of Daniel Bryan, and then applies the guillotine, and he wins. Obviously, Roman retains. Nobody is surprised. But the thing that caught everyone by surprise, Edge, out of nowhere, hits Roman with a spear, points at the WrestleMania sign, fireworks go off. He does what Roman did to him on Friday, puts his hands behind his back, leans down, whispers, something probably sexual, as Matt would probably say, in his ear.
According to Matt, it would be, yeah.
And, it just... Now we have...
Well, what did you think about that? Did you enjoy Edge? Do you think Edge is the right opponent? I think so.
Oh, for Roman, 100%.
WrestleMania.
100%. Because, I mean, when we talk about the Raw Chamber, it makes sense. But once Edge won the Rumble, we all knew that it should have been Roman. He was going to face at Mania.
Mm.
And I'm just even more excited because that's probably going to be the main event, since WrestleMania's 2 nights. It's probably going to be the main event Sunday night.
Yes, it has to be. I mean, I've advocated that night 1 should be Bianca versus Sasha. Night 2 should be Roman versus Edge. Main events, both nights. Will they do that? Because it's 2 SmackDowns? Probably not.
No.
But that's what I would do.
And you're bold of you to assume they'll give just a one-on-one women's match the main event at WrestleMania.
Oh, please,
very bold of you to assume.
Don't even get me started on that.
Don't get you started.
Don't get me
Sir.
started on no. It's going to be Bianca versus Sasha one-on-one at WrestleMania. That's the bottom line.
No. I'm saying...
No, we're not going anymore.
Listen.
No. No.
Listen to me. D-Rod, listen. You're saying that you think it'll be the main event Saturday night of Mania.
Of night 1, yes.
Bold of you to assume it'll be the main event. WWE doesn't have faith in their women. I have been hell-bent on saying this for months.
Alright, I'm going to throw something to you.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Alright.
Charlotte versus Becky versus Ronda.
Triple threat. And they had Ronda, and that's what people say is the reason they got that. Again, a one-on-one women's match. When's the last time it main evented a pay-per-view?
But it's 2 nights.
But you really... We're not getting into
saying.
We're not getting into this argument. I'm not...
Oh, shut up, Matt.
Matt, trust me, I really want to. Okay. So we have...
Well, fine, then let's just put Gilbert versus Drew McIntyre night 1 main event. That'll work better than Bianca versus Sasha.
Don't put that negativity out in the world. We don't... Goldberg and...
I said Gilbert, not Goldberg.
Anyway, so Bad Bunny is seen backstage with Sonya Deville. He's the 24/7 champion. They're talking. And then The Miz comes up and is basically saying, oh, well, why are you here? Bad Bunny's response is, I'm a champion, which he's technically not wrong. He is a WWE champion. He asks Miz, well, why are you here? You're not a champion. And then that has Miz push Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny slaps the taste out of Miz's mouth. And Miz turns around, and then there's Damian Priest.
Love Damian Priest. I've been high on him since NXT, early days. And he just keeps proving that he's going to be a top star, I think.
Yeah, I personally love Damian Priest. I like that, I mean, they're slowly giving him matches on the main roster. I loved what he was doing in NXT. I mean, the Archer thing still it's kind of lame, but, like, it makes sense, I guess.
No, here we go.
But it doesn't distaste his wrestling abilities. Like, he's fantastic in the ring, and he has been since I've been watching him. So I don't know where this is gonna lead with Bad Bunny and The Miz and Damian Priest. Well, now with Miz, I have no idea. We'll talk about it.
We'll get to that.
Man, we'll get to it.
The lovely ending.
It was no.
It was great.
No.
Yes.
No. The United States title triple threat match. So we have Bobby Lashley, who is the champ, taking on Riddle, taking on John Morrison, because we found out earlier today Keith Lee is injured. He wasn't in the building. He was out So they had a fatal 4-way on the kickoff show to determine who would be the final participant in the triple threat. The fatal 4-way was Ali, Ricochet, Morrison, and Elias. Morrison won. I was kind of surprised Morrison won.
Me too.
I was really expecting Ali or Ricochet. Elias, no.
We've jumped the boat on him already.
Yeah, Elias is doing nothing. But that's never mind.
But somebody had to eat the pin, so, you know.
But he didn't even eat the pin.
Well, no, not eat the pin. But what I'm trying to say is, you know what I've said. Somebody had to take it. And they were not going to do it to Lashley if they're going to put the title on Riddle, because you know what's going to happen. It's going to have another rematch and all this.
I really didn't expect Riddle to win. Like,
I didn't want him to win. I love a dominant Bobby Lashley. I loved, you know, him just taking out Morrison and Riddle in this matchup, and then we get to the end. Okay, did we specify that this is a no DQ match, or all triple threats no DQ matches?
All triple threat matches, to my understanding, are no DQ. Because Morrison's on the outside, and he gets in MVP's face because MVP's talking trash. That's what MVP does. And he hurt his knee on Monday, so he's out there with a crutch. And he takes the crutch from... Morrison takes the crutch from MVP, slides in the ring, and MVP's like, do something to the ref. Like, he has a weapon. And Morrison and the ref were both just like, no DQ.
Like, it's no DQ. I mean, I hate to say this because I know that this was put together probably rather quickly. But what in the world? Just, in my opinion, poor / lazy booking at the end. But, you know, Matt, I was kind of rooting for Matt Riddle just to see Matt cry over Twitter because we knew it was coming. Mr. Ritter.
Okay. Well, the crutch comes into play not by Morrison, but by Riddle. Because Lashley puts the Hurt Lock on John Morrison. Riddle uses the crutch to break that up. Also gets Morrison with a crutch, too. He hits Lashley mainly, but he also gets a little bit of Morrison. So that takes Bobby out, and he hits the Final Flash knee on him as well. Riddle hits the Bro Derek on John Morrison and becomes the new United States champion.
Woo! What do you think, Katie? Do you like Matt Riddle? I mean, I see a lot of hate for him, and I'm kind of split down the middle. I don't know what to think of.
I mean, he's good in the ring. I give him that. But I've said this on the Raw recaps and to Kevin and to numerous people that I can't get behind the fact that he's literally he's dumb. Every time he talks, I lose brain cells. My IQ drops 10 points. And like I find myself pretty smart, but listening to him talk sometimes, I'm just like, I need to leave.
Well, I mean, you said it is pretty much his gimmick is being
a stoner. That's what he is.
Being dumb.
No, he's being a stoner, but then he's playing up the stoner stereotype of being spacey and out there and dumb. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Riddle. I really thought Lashley was going to hold on to that title until Mania. Now I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what their end game is for this.
I really hope the end game is putting the title on Keith Lee.
That's probably what was gonna happen.
Might have happened tonight.
I see. In my mind, what was gonna happen was Lashley was gonna win, but pin Riddle. Keith Lee makes the point that you never pinned me. We get that mashup at Mania because that would have been awesome.
Well, see, we can still do this. Keith Lee says, I didn't get the shot. Because of my injury, I was pulled.
Mm-hmm.
They could pull that route if they wanted to, but I'm telling you, they've got to do something with Keith Lee. I love Keith Lee. Put a title on it.
I don't think there's a person that I've talked to, at least, that hates Keith Lee.
That don't like Keith Lee.
Keith Lee's amazing.
Yes.
He's underrated. He's underutilized. And now he's injured. So there's that.
Yep. There you go.
Let's move on to the women's.
Do we have to?
It's gonna be brief. Don't worry.
Can we skip it?
It's gonna be brief. Don't worry. We got the women's tag team championship match. So the champs, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, taking on the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and the Royal Rumble winner Bianca Belair. First of all, this match should have never happened.
No.
I have been adamant on this. I'm so sick of double champions. So the fact that Sasha was even getting this opportunity pissed me off to my core. It's what they just did with Asuka. So I was not happy already.
And the fact, and you'll run down the match, I'm sure, but just what gets me is since the Hell in a Cell match with Bayley, Sasha has been booked, in my opinion, very well as a top tier champion.
Okay.
For SmackDown. And tonight, and it may be a part of a bigger story, but I have no idea how it would be. You let Sasha take the pin. And I know Reginald was out there and doing his crap. Who cares about Reginald? I really wish he would just go away and never come back. But I mean, why would you let your SmackDown Women's Champion take the pin? I understand it's Nia Jax, but who cares about Nia Jax and her hole? Let's move on. And you let Sasha Banks take the pin. I'm not happy about it. What do you think about it?
Like I said, the match should have never happened in the first place. First and foremost. I hate that they're trying to make it seem like Bianca and Sasha are best friends now because
that should have never happened.
A few encounters. Reginald being thrown in the mix when he's, like with Carmella. And the fact that he comes out at the end of this match for no reason, because he's simping for Sasha Banks, apparently, is the story now.
Get in line.
There's a plethora of people who are.
Yeah.
And he decides to give her the bottle of champagne and is like, use it. And she's like, no, I'm not going to use it. The ref sees this, takes the bottle out of her hand. Then she eats what is it called? Oh my god.
Samoan drop.
Thank you. And then she eats the pin. I don't think it was smart to have Sasha eat the pin. I'm just mainly happy that they didn't win. In general.
I mean, that's a good point. And Bama Dave makes an okay point, but Bama, I understand you want to get Sasha back to the boss, but there's better ways of doing it.
Okay.
In my opinion.
And the fact she's a heel. She always is gonna be a heel. Even if she's still the boss character, she has never changed. She still has this cocky, I'm better than everyone attitude. Has been since creating the boss character.
Wait a minute, Katie. Are you saying that Sasha Banks is a heel currently?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. She may be heel-ish, but a heel Sasha Banks is not out there hugging around on Bianca Belair.
If she's a babyface, then she's one of the worst babyfaces I've ever seen in my entire life.
I don't see your point on a heel. She's not a heel.
I'm not getting into this. I can't.
A heel Sasha Banks, if we're going to go back to NXT days, she ain't hugging around on her tag team partner. She ain't hugging around on the Royal Rumble winner that is going to face her if she chooses so. She is going to be all over Bianca Belair, mind games, and taking her down.
What makes you think this isn't a mind game by Sasha Banks? Pairing up with Bianca.
If they go that route, I will give you a high five, Katie, but they're not going to go that route.
Bama, she has never been a babyface. Babyfaces don't act like her.
She's never been a babyface. Sasha's been a babyface before.
Before her boss character in NXT, yes. You can't have her be the boss. You can't have her be the boss and be a babyface. They don't work together.
I don't know. I just don't see what y'all are saying, but maybe I'm just mentally malnourished. I don't know. But,
maybe you're also just in the line of people just simping for Sasha Banks.
Well, you may be true there too.
Me, on the other hand, I see through Sasha's BS. She's a heel and always will be a heel. As long as she is the boss, she is a heel. And people can sound off. People can tell me I'm wrong. Tell me she's babyface. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. At me on Twitter. Tell me she's a babyface. I don't care. I will tell you you're wrong.
Well, I can go into the middle line, but I'll give you that. That's all I'm giving you. 'Cause I just don't see it.
Let's just move on to the main event.
Yeah.
So this
to the
was
main event. Yes.
like I said in the beginning, we did not get the Raw Women's Championship match. I'm surprised that they didn't just give it to Charlotte, because that's what everyone thought they were going to do anyways. Because Lacey's pregnant, legitimately pregnant in real life, but now storyline, she is pregnant. Which, me and Kevin talked about enough about that. So we'll see what happens with that on Monday. But for the WWE Championship Chamber match, we had the champion Drew McIntyre taking on AJ Styles, taking on Randy Orton, Sheamus, Jeff Hardy, and Kofi Kingston. And we did know that Sheamus was going to be entering last because he won the gauntlet match on Monday. Now, Randy and Jeff start. I wasn't super surprised. I knew they weren't going to have Drew start.
No.
And obviously, Randy and Jeff, they're fine in the ring. They have plenty of chemistry.
Got history.
They've been doing that. They're the longest. I could actually be wrong on this. This is from my own deduction, that in the chamber match, they're the longest ones with WWE tenure. Kofi's close, and Sheamus is close, but I think it's Randy and Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, they have history together in the ring, so it makes sense. But if I was going to do it, letting Jeff take the RKO, boom, 1, 2, 3, and Randy just taunts the other guys. That's what I would have done. But they done all right. They have history in the ring together, and I thought they done all right till the other guys got out there.
Yeah, I mean, then we got to see Drew come in, followed by Kofi Kingston, and Kofi shocks everyone, and he pins Randy.
Yes.
And Randy gets eliminated first.
Yes.
Now, I want to know how many people saw that coming.
Not me. You can add me into the list of. I did not see that coming, because, when I thought of, when you look at the matchup and you say, okay, here's what's going to happen, D-Rod. Kofi's going to pin Randy, and Randy's going to go out first. I look at you and say, no, you're crazy. But it happened.
It happened. It freaking happened. And Randy, clearly being pissed, hits an RKO on Kofi, hits an RKO on Jeff Hardy, and is starting to walk out. But then, on the opposite side of the chamber, we see Almost ripping the plexiglass off of AJ's pod, allowing AJ to jump out, and then just run around, make brief eye contact with Randy, and then just enter into the chamber. He couldn't wait his 5 minutes.
And here's another point, Katie.
Okay.
Sami Zayn brings his crew out there.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "Oh, nope, you gotta go."
Yeah.
AJ brings his bodyguard down to the ring. But I can see the point, though. I'd much rather mess with Sammy's film
Exactly.
crew than I would with that big old guy.
Yeah, like
But I still think there should have been at least a ref attempt.
I can see your point, but it has been seen that refs have tried in the past to get almost out of the ring in the beginning of matches, and then he kind of just like stares him down, and they're just like, "Can you please?" And it still takes him a few minutes, so I don't think they were gonna waste time on that. What they did with him was I liked a lot better than like the camera crew angle. Basically, have him out there. He doesn't do anything until A's just like, open it, rips plexiglass, and then it takes Adam Pearce, who is like the unofficial GM, because God forbid they gave him that title, and it takes him ejecting almost from ringside, and even AJ screaming from the chamber, "No, like let him stay. He's fine." AJ's pleading. Oh man! But then, since AJ allows himself in, we don't have to wait too much longer for Sheamus to come out. We see him do a nasty bro kick on Kofi.
The highlight of this chamber for me was, Sheamus comes out. We wait a little while. Sheamus comes out. And then boom. Drew and Sheamus, they clash. And I'm telling you, those strikes they were throwing were on point to each other. And I just love that. That's my favorite part of this chamber, besides after the chamber. We'll get to that. Was Sheamus and Drew brawling it out. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think RN has said it before that when you're with your, if you're fighting with your friends, you're hitting as hard as you can. And it's definitely been seen with Drew and Sheamus. I mean, tonight was no exception. Did you see Sheamus's chest?
Yes.
That was
Beat
intense.
Red.
Oh, man. So we see Sheamus hit a bro kick, and that takes out Kofi. We see Jeff hit a swanton, but then eat a claymore, thus eliminating him. Now, this is where I got a little upset, because I had Drew and Sheamus as my final two.
Me too.
But no, Alan had to go and ruin everything, because he had a phenomenal forearm. And so Sheamus gets eliminated. But we get to see a very beautiful claymore out of midair onto AJ. So AJ gets eliminated because McIntyre pins him. McIntyre retains. Everyone rejoices. But then we're all like, oh no, there's 5 minutes left. Something's gonna happen.
Yes.
Because earlier in the night, after Lashley loses, we see Miz and MVP scheming. And that's when everyone's like, oh no, what's gonna happen? This is what happens. Bobby Lashley spears the hell out of Drew McIntyre, beats his ass, throws him around ringside, hits him with the Hurt Lock, and then Mr. Money in the Bank himself, Miz, runs out, cashes in, hits the DDT. Matt, shut up. I'm just not going to look up at the camera then. It's fine. Hits the DDT, thinking he won. No. Drew kicks out. D-Rod stops staring at the camera. Then he picks up Drew's lifeless body, hits the skull-crushing finale, and becomes the new WWE champion.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Finally, we have got a new WWE champion. That's not Drew McIntyre.
Did you have something against Drew's reign?
And it is The Miz. I don't know about this, Katie. You may have heard me or not, but I've spoken on this before. Not a huge fan of Drew as the champ.
Okay.
Not totally against it, but just not a fan. But awesome moment. Miz is the WWE champion. If you didn't like it, you can, do whatever you want. Go cry me a river. He's the WWE champion.
Now,
thanks, and a big shout out to Bobby Lashley. Thank you very much.
Now I will pose the question to you, and I will pose this question to everybody listening or watching. Do you think this is going to lead to Bobby and Miz at Fastlane, and Bobby beating the absolute shit out of Miz for the title?
I would be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as I love The Miz as the WWE champion, I think a dominant Bobby Lashley is even better as the WWE champion.
Okay.
And then you get to have Drew McIntyre. If you're going to put him back in, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
That would be okay with me.
Now, if that match were to happen at Mania, do you have Drew winning?
No.
Really?
No.
Interesting.
I would, at the end of the matchup, what I would have, and everybody's fixing to turn on me in the chat if they already haven't. Brock Lesnar returns.
Oh, here we go.
And you have Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
Why would you even speak that?
I'm sorry. I had to. It's
No.
something that,
No.
Yes, I would love it.
No. Why? We're perfectly... WWE is perfectly fine without Brickhead Lesnar, without Bill. We're fine.
I agree there.
We are fine without them. And... yeah,
not saying
Bob
Bob.
knows. Drew wins at Mania, and he finally gets that moment in front of a crowd like he deserved last Mania.
I'm not saying Brock goes over.
But you're saying Brock in general. Why even bring him back into this conversation?
This is the problem with the crowd nowadays, saying Brock in general gets everybody fired up.
It has been for years, because Brock decided...
I don't see the problem.
He literally just decided, oh, I'm just gonna come back to WWE, be champ, leave for months, not defend my title, come back. No!
Bob's got a good point also. Brock versus Roman would be great also with Paul Heyman involved.
Paul Heyman on a pole or Paul Heyman in a shark cage, that's the only reason I will be happy if that match happens. The only reason.
I'll take you up on that. We'll put Paul Heyman in the shark cage and let Roman and Brock have at it. If that's what we're going to have. Because
if, and this is a big if Brickhead Lesnar comes back and he wants to go after Roman, I'm only going to be happy if Paul Heyman is in the middle of it. It is the only way I will be happy. Because again, Brock doesn't need to be here anymore. It has been seen that WWE doesn't need him. They didn't need Bill either. That's besides the point. But Bill didn't win, surprisingly, this time.
no, he didn't.
And I was very shocked.
I wasn't.
And I have no issue with what Brock has done with WWE in the past. I was watching when he was on SmackDown every week, being this huge dude, beating the hell out of everybody with Paul Heyman by his side. I have no issue with that. That's fine. But to come back to WWE whenever the fuck you feel like it, and it gives me a migraine thinking about it.
Lesnar. Book it, WWE.
No, don't book it,
Book
WWE.
it.
No, we don't need the legends.
Okay, well at least we
anymore.
can agree on the Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre Mania main event or match.
Yeah, see? You said main event.
No,
Because you
no,
know.
no, don't back me up, don't back me up, no. Cut it out, cut it off, cut
I'm
it
not.
off.
This isn't edited.
Don't
You know
clip
damn well
this,
I don't edit
anybody.
these. No. Listen to me, D-Rod. I'm looking at you now. I'm looking at you right now, D-Rod. You
not doing
have
this.
so much faith in WWE saying that it's going to be Sasha versus Bianca for the SmackDown Women's title as the main event of Mania 1. Bold assumption. I would love that. As a woman who watches wrestling and has been watching it since a child, I would fucking love that to be the main event. But WWE, AEW, no company, Impact kind of does. They're not in question right now.
We're not talking about Impact.
We're not talking about Impact. They actually are doing their women quite well over there. Good for them. Better than AEW and WWE.
Yeah.
AEW and WWE do not
AEW,
book
yeah.
their women properly. Plain and simple.
Brock to AEW.
Brock nowhere. Let him just live on his farm with Sable, having a blast. Like,
now what was you gonna say about Drew and Bobby and Sasha and Bianca? You're gonna get fired up about something. I cut you off, and I'm kind of glad I did because it's gonna be Bianca versus Sasha. That one. Mark it down.
if it is, I will be ecstatic. I will be the happiest person in the world. I'm saying I have no faith in WWE doing that. Based off their track record, I have no faith. As of right now, I think it will probably be Bobby and Drew night 1 as the main event. And I won't be necessarily mad at that either, because it's a good main event. Those are two powerful dudes going at it.
Well, we'll just agree to disagree on night 1 of WrestleMania. Tune in, and you'll find out if Katie is right or D-Rod is right.
That's what, 2 months away? Less
yeah.
than?
Yep.
When is Mania? Like April 11th or
April
something?
3rd or something, ain't it?
April
I don't know an
11th?
official date on
3rd?
it.
Hello? I'm gonna look real quick. Because out of sheer curiosity.
Bama Dave will know.
I believe it's the 10th and the 11th.
Okay.
That's my official thing.
The only one-on-one WrestleMania women's main event will be Becky versus Ronda.
Okay.
They had a chance to do that,
We're-
Bama Dave, and they failed.
We will talk about that. Thank you guys for watching the Elimination Chamber recap. Again,
Cutting us off.
we're gonna talk about it after the
I'm
fact.
just going on with you.
Jesus. Again, thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. D-Rod, where can the people find you?
You can find me, the King of the Smack Raw podcast, at CEODROD on Twitter and on Twitch at twitch.tv/DRod2222. And you can come bow down to the King of the Smack Raw podcast Tuesday and Saturday nights. Thank you all for listening to this Smack Raw podcast. Thank you, Katie. I thought it was a good show.
You know, no one has got me fired up like that in a while. So thank you, I guess. If you're watching live, stay tuned. We'll be chatting after. But if you're watching the video, please again leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. You can also tweet your opinions at us at SmackDrawPod on Twitter, or myself at KDWrestling13. It's right there on the screen. But until then, y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.